Welcome to a sunny birthday in Abeokuta City, Ogun State of Nigeria. This is your image, your public relations program that highlights development, that connects people, communities, nations, and the global world to ensure that there's unity and development in the society. Today, our focus is on the issue of setting agenda for Nigeria in 2023 and beyond. For 24 years, we've had unbroken tenure of democracy. Our democracy is getting stable and we are progressing. And come May 29, a new regime called Renew Hope will start in Nigeria. And we believe that it's going to be hope assured. This afternoon, I have in the studio with me scholars, researchers, and men who have also seen the world. They've witnessed so many democracies, and here we are today, try to set an agenda for which all of us must be participants. No one must be on the fence. We must ensure that we get it right this time around. And I have the honor of having Dr. Aditoro. He is a researcher and also member of Governing Council of Federal College of Education, Abeokuta. Welcome, sir.
It's my pleasure being here, the moderator.
I also have with me Professor Abuela, the way he wants to be referred to, but let me tell you, he's Professor Adeshina Abuela, a professor of mathematics, a researcher, and a man who has also been so deep in the issue of figures. So I welcome you, sir.
It's a pleasure being here. Good evening, viewers at home.
Yeah, now that they are here, we get to business. Our business for today is to begin to have a kind of vision into what we want in Nigeria. We said we have had to experience 24 years of unbroken democracy since 1999. Let me start with you, Dr. Adito. Is democracy still on trial?
Well, the moderator, just like every man continues to develop every day with the teething challenges, so also with any system, it's still on trial and it's still evolving as far as Nigeria is concerned, and even in elsewhere, they still have some of the rough edges. They try to...
First of all, I want to, thank God that we have been having, democratic rule since 1999, which by next Monday, so we must have had, unbroken 24 good years of democratic rule in this country, and that's a thing of joy. Yes, it's a thing of joy that there was nothing, to break the rule. We've been having the continuity, of course, now, democratic rule, of course, now since 1999 to date, is something, of course, now that is worthy of being celebrated. And just like Dr. Adito said, well, the democratic rule in Nigeria is still evolving, and we will continue to evolve until we get to, a very an appreciable, stage that we can beat our chest that of course now we have arrived. Even in advanced democracy of the world, in America, and other places, that has been in existence, of course, now for hundreds of years, they are still evolving, because all of us, of course, they could see what happened, of course, in the US in their last election. Everything, of course, that was to be perfect as we expected. That could have been, occurrence, but it happened. So we show, of course, that I'm very sure the next election next year now, they must have seen, of course, now, some errors, of course, now made in the last election, and they want to, block all those areas. So showing that, of course, now they are still evolving. So, and, in our own case, of course, now we are still evolving, we are still learning, and we continue to learn until we get it right. But we are on the right track.
Oh, thank you very much, Professor Abiola. Well, Dr. Rashid Aditu, how do we correct the pitfalls that have been experienced over the years?
Thank you, the moderator. You see, the problem is, most of the problems are human factors, indeed. It is as a result of the greed and selfish interest of individuals who wants to maneuver around regulations.
Not a constitutional issue.
It's not a constitutional issue as such. So, and just like we have in institutions here and there, and that is why we are having these challenges. But thank God, just like Professor Abiola said, we continue to learn from stages to stages, and we're smoothing the rough edges. I'm aware that even we all know that right now the issue of democratic violence is getting down a bit, but still we are having the challenges of people, desperate politicians trying to maneuver around regulations, either hijacking the BFAS, the whatever machineries are emotions, and of course even doing what I want to call proxy balloting in a desperate move. And you see, a lot of these are as a result of desperations of human beings. And as we are moving on the democratic path, we continue to bring rules that will continue to checkmate these excesses of man.
I was about asking, how do we eschew all these vices?
Of course, I think thank God that independent candidature is coming in.
Okay.
So that the party bandwagons effect will no longer be there. You know, the aggregate of people of the same goals towards political delivery is always very challenging. But if private candidatures are coming in, and I think less of this maneuver and less of diversion and perversion of electoral finance will be drastically reduced.
Are you sure it's not going to even make the environment, political environment, more cumbersome?
I don't think so. I don't think so. It's more or less going to remove a kind of group actions of
dominance, parties,
of dominance, and desperations will be less. Desperation will be less.
And the opportunity for the populace to now
decide on the personality, the capacity, and the antecedent of the individual to actually deliver.
I think I can agree with you, Professor Abiola. If we look at the IMF projection for Nigeria for 2023, which stated them from cutting back from the GDP ratio of 3.4 to 3%. And they adduce the fact that we are having issue of flooding and also the issue of inflation and the rest. Do you see this new government coping and providing welfare for the citizens?
Well, I'm very optimistic that the new government, of course, now we work around that, because the economy of the country is very key, And the reason why we are getting all these, figures, of course, from the IMF is because of the fact that, our economy, of course, now is not something, of course, now to say much about, So we are, import dependent, and there is not, of course, now we are exporting, as much apart from the crude oil and all that. So the coming government, of course, now will have to work, seriously on the economy, and we are hopeful because of the fact that the president-elect, is an economist, and therefore, of course, now all his knowledge and experts, of course, now we have to come to bear this time around, and we have been very lucky, of course, now to have him now. Somebody, of course, that really knows the how to operate the economy. All the ABC of the economy, of course, now is within, of course, now within his reach, and I'm very sure, of course, now he's going to harness all these resources. Of course, now when, of course, now he takes the mantle of the leadership. Because if you look back, one of the things that have been affecting has not been making, of course, now the previous government, of course, now to do very well is because of the way they've been handling the economy of the country. So they've not been doing well in the area of economy. For example, this outgoing government did not do well at all, of course, in that particular area. Even though, of course, that the area of economy, okay, they didn't do very well. And that's the reason why, of course, now we're having all the figures we are getting, of course, from the IMF, from the World Bank, and all that. And I'm very sure, of course, now this, coming government, of course, numbers have been taking notes, and that all those areas must be looked into properly, because the economy, of course, now is very key, because if, of course, now a country is very weak economically, there is nothing, of course, now you can push, of course, now to the outside world, So everybody, of course, now is running, of course, now to China, to all those places. It's because of their viable economy.
Not because of the population explosion.
Not because of the population. Of course, the population is also there. But of course, now they go pari passu. If, of course, now you have good economy, of course, now you have the population and all that. They go. They will complement each other, and you get beautiful results. The population of Nigeria is not as large as that of the China, and today, of course, now the China, of course, now is doing very well. It is because of the fact, of course, that they have good economic policy, they have good people that are running the economy, and they understand the ABC of the economy of their country, and they export into so many countries. So I think that is exactly, of course, now what this new government, of course, now should do. Assemble those who knows the ABC of the economy and to make it work.
So the issue of population explosion shouldn't be...
No, it shouldn't be, in fact, it should be to our own advantage.
Okay. Do you agree that the increase in population should be of advantage to us?
Of course.
So
when you produce goods,
okay,
you must have market. And market is the people,
okay,
who will purchase. And that is why even all the so-called Western world, the big economy of the world, wants to romance with Nigerian population.
Yes.
Because the market
is there.
So why can't we take advantage? Just like Professor Agbola said, they are complementary. You have products, then you must have the populace that will buy it.
But not just because of population, maybe because of the creativity, innovation, and the rest.
Of course, what will bring production is the creativity of human beings.
Okay.
And let me tell you, when we are talking of this economic revival in the real sense of it, the issue of energy, power, electricity must be at the front burner, because energy is the driver of all economy in the world. Constant energy, not the epileptic ones we are having, to such an extent that many of the higher investors in Nigeria are drawn to even smaller countries like Togo, Benin Republic, and Ghana. So you see, we must, in fact, I'm quite sure, of course, the man that we are having, even initiated, don't forget, initiated the Aeron Energy private companies during his tenure in Lagos, of course, which the federal government never blessed. And Perhaps if that had come to stay, today at least southwestern Nigeria, even the electric line. And that's why we are thanking God that we have this man. We are only praying that he has good cabinet to support his creativity and energy and capacity. So that is what we will be praying for. Not the hawks, not the political hawks who hang around to just get power and use power for selfish ends without using it to develop the economy and the nation.
Thank you for your submission. Professor Abeokuta, you are a man, an expert in figures. The area of private or public-private partnership, how beneficial are we envisaging that?
Well, as I said earlier, you know, the coming government, of course, now must have, I mean, the man that is going to take the mantle of leadership, of course, now has been part and parcel of all the government. Yes. So, and all these, of course, are well known to him. So, therefore, you know, most of the errors they've made in the past, I mean, in the previous government, they just have to look into all that and get them corrected.
But then the
policy formulation area, you know, because this public and private partnership, yes, of course now is a very good one, but our experience, of course, now in the previous years, especially of course in the last the 8 years of the government that is winding up now, is not to say much about, you know, because in fact they've not all those policies, of course, now formulated, of course, now they did not really, you know, carry them out of order the way should be carried.
Because he was looking at establishing a solid infrastructural facilities for the growth of all these economies.
But do we really have those infrastructure in place now? Do we really have them in place?
Okay, maybe I will ask Dr.
Do you have them in place?
Infrastructural wise, the government has not.
In terms of transportation network, I think it has tried. But railways, roads, intercity roads, and so on. But you see, it goes beyond that.
Okay.
Like Professor Abeokuta was crediting public-private partnership. I think they do not. I'm sorry. This last regime, this whining regime, did not actually understand the nitty-gritty and the benefits of public-private partnership. Otherwise, our economy could have not been in comatose as we have it today. If actually it is well tapped, thank God the man that is coming understands that very well, and he had used it to actually leverage Lagos State.
I hope we are not. I hope we are not overrating the incoming government.
We are not overrating. That's why I said the only clause is that he should have also good cabinet, good ministers who will actually actualize these policies, who will also understand the intricacies of the implementation of these public-private partnership policies, issues. For example, if actually the public-private partnership had been well utilized without political consideration, not the ones the way they use it for the energy. That's why we have been having epileptic power supply. Sold it for public, for political job for the boys. Job for the boys. Whereas we had the technical experts from outside who actually wanted to turn it around, but they were shown the way out of the system. And today that is why we remain in a stage of almost perpetual darkness in Nigeria. I think we just have to move out of that and get the economy running.
We must move on. We must. Professor Abeokuta, I want you to look at how we can provide a solid background that financially or economic based or economic wise that Nigeria can leapfrog, how do we use mathematics? How do we use accounting, or maybe the issue of accountability? How do we put them into use to leapfrog Nigeria? Well, maybe talking about the ICT, yes, how it can prepare.
That's the area I'm going into. You know, thank God, of course, now for all the advancements all over the world. We don't, as a country, of course, now need now to start, you know, inventing things on our own. Things are already there, you know. Things are already there. For example, you are policing in an area, of course, now with physical men. I mean, but now, of course, you have the technology, you have the camera, you have everything, of course, and that can be put somewhere that can be stored now. I mean, for 24 hours. Whereas, of course, a man, of course, now may sleep off. Camera will not sleep off as long as, of course, you have the light there. So once we can adapt all these technologies that are available all over the world, we will make it. You know, we don't need to start, of course, now inventing our own technology. Even, of course, we can have, you know, indigenous, of course, technology. But all these technologies are already there, you know, there. It is for us, of course, to get them purchased, you know, get them installed and put them, of course, in place. But there is something, of course, now we are seeing the other time now. Democracy thrives where, of course, now you have functional rule of law. You know, because you put a camera somewhere now.
We'll still discuss that.
You put a camera somewhere. You put a camera somewhere. You know, and you have all the rules, of course, now guiding the operation of the camera now, whatever now. As people, of course, are not, you know, obeying that rules and regulation, it cannot work. Even if you have the best of technology in the world now, there are some rules, of course, now that people, of course, now must obey, and, you know, at all times.
Thank you very much, Prof. Dr. Adito.
Yeah.
A little advice, just your last bite.
Okay.
For this inauguration.
Okay.
What do you want government to do quickly?
Sincerely speaking, I bore my mind, even in my last expression, that energy and technology, just to corroborate Professor Agbola, energy and technology are key to development. And this government cannot fail in that direction. Of course, human factor, they are always checkmated by strict regulations.
Thank you very much. This coming government should not fail in this direction, providing frontally solutions on energy, providing solutions on issues that can improve our well-being, providing solutions that can give our economy a lift, thus ensuring total welfare for Nigerians. Viewers, this is how far we can go today. So little time, so much contributions from our experts. I'm glad that you really made the day for us. Until next week, I hope when we have another discussion, you will be with us.
God's willing. God's willing.
Viewers, this is how far we can go. Meet you next week when we are going to conclude on this topic. That is after inauguration. We'll be looking into issues of justice, issues of welfare, issues of accountability, problems of insecurity, and the like, so that this government can successfully deliver on dividend democracy. Until next week, say bye. Remember, I'm still Akin Fidel, your anchor.